If this is your first time in our channel and you want to know everything about Fulshear Texas, subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so you're gonna be the first one to know about Fulshear.
We get calls every day from people just like you, and whether you're trying to move in 9 days or 9 months, we want to make your move to Fulshear Texas as smooth as possible. Our information is down below. But let's get a look at the map and let's just see what Fulshear has to offer. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Fulshear Texas. It's kind of a hidden gem for people that are not from Houston, but people that are in Houston or even Katy, this is kind of like the new hotspot. The population here has been booming over the last 5 years, really 10 years, like it's doubled, tripled, and there's a lot going on, and it's for good reason why people want to move to Fulshear, Texas.
Yeah, today we're gonna talk about families and communities. We're gonna talk also about occupations, recreations, and dreams.
Yep. So on how Fulshear affects all of those things. And there's so much to cover, and we'll kind of show you if you want to move to Fulshear, what's going on out here and what's close by, and you know, how long will it take you to get to the airport if you're trying to
go to an airport.
Yeah, I'm glad we're going to cover that. So let's talk about where you're going to actually live if you come out here in Fulshear. I mean, it's popular, but where are the houses and what do you want to do, right? Yeah. So we're going to go over some of the big suburbs and some hidden spots and some different lifestyles depending on what your goals are on how you want to live out here. So Fulshear, just off the bat, let me say that it's kind of in the country. It's out there. It's meant for you to be disconnected from the big city. However, with people kind of moving in, it's slowly becoming like half country, half suburb. So it's a good balance still.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
It's a great balance. So you do get to experience the privacy of being out and disconnected, but also not so private that it's going to take you an hour to get to a grocery store. So the biggest advantage or the biggest communities out here, we have a couple. Cross Creek Ranch right here is a Johnson Development community. And they actually have 2 sections. It's Cross Creek and it pulls over here to Cross Creek West, which is another section of theirs. And Cross Creek is what we consider a master plan community. And in Texas, we have master plan communities, and they're basically communities that are built out to be in the thousands, multiple thousands of homes. And Cross Creek Ranch is where you're going to find, if you want to be disconnected from the rest of the city, but you also want to hold on to that suburban life where you get to have the pools, the amenities, the cool neighbors, the trails, the trails, the parks, block parties, the parks. You want to have all of that still without compromising, without being in close to the city. That's what Cross Creek is going to provide you. I will say they're really good. Cross Creek, because it's a master plan community, they have the budget to do a lot of cool, fun things for families there. They actually hire a person that their job is specifically just to throw parties and throw events for the community and for all the neighbors. So that's why Cross Creek is kind of one of the most celebrated and sought after areas. In Cross Creek, and I'm going to talk about other communities too, but Cross Creek is near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to talk about there. In Cross Creek, you have the ability to buy different price points there. So it's not just all $1 million houses or just all $300,000, $400,000 houses. You'll have something in the 400 plus, 500, 600, and you'll have different categories of homes. And usually those categories of homes are distinguished not just by the price, but by the width of their lot too. So just to educate you on some lingo out here for new home sales or for new construction suburbs, sometimes you'll hear us refer to things as 50 foot or 65s or 70s, and we're referring to the width of the lot. And a lot of times the width of the lot, dictates what kind of house you can build on it, therefore what kind of price point you're going to be in. So Cross Creek is definitely one of the ones that are up there big time. You have a lot of people who still have their half-acre, 1-acre homes because it's still technically in the country, right? So you're going to have out here some spots out here where you'll see some horses, you'll see cows, you'll see some farmland, you'll see some private homes, but then you'll also get the ability to look at some other developments. But you'll also have the ability to check out other communities, not quite master plan, but close enough to master plan because they carry a lot of the same perks, like Fulbrook. And Fulbrook is going to be similar to Cross Creek, and that will distinguish different price points and different types of homes by the widths because there's different, categories of home. But there's more. when you're talking about suburbs in major cities or close to major cities like Katy, like Richmond, like Pearland, the Woodlands, we're talking about teeny tiny, well, some people would consider teeny tiny lots with big houses. Fulbrook does give you the ability to have lots with suburbs that are like half acre or 1 acre. As a matter of fact, right around this area right here, I used to sell these new modern farmhouse style new construction homes, and you had the ability to have a half acre lot or a full 1 acre lot with these beautiful, like,
Amazing.
think like Chip and Joanne type style. Like, it's a beautiful farmhouse with the metal roof, and it's really, really cool. And then out west, this direction right here, out in this direction, past Fulbrook, kind of in between here, basically all of these wooded areas around here, there are still plenty of lots available that are 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre, and you see a lot of custom builders out there doing their thing when it comes to, you know, really cool big houses. So you have an opportunity in Fulshear to live a nice, quiet, private life. It's not just all suburbs out here. Now let's talk about the kind of the elephant in the room, and this is what we consider Weston Lakes. A quick little history lesson here about Weston Lakes. Weston Lakes, I guess technically is part of Fulshear, technically not part of Fulshear. They are a community that has band together the neighbors in such a way that they're basically their own zip code, their own little city. So while they are associated with Fulshear, and at one point was part of Fulshear, technically they're their own community, everything. Like they have their own water supply, their own sewer supply. Weston Lakes is a beautiful gated section with great golf courses, and you have a chance there to really buy a lot inside of a community that's already developed and then build a custom home there. Or you can buy something that I've seen houses out there that are like 6,000 square feet, multi-million houses. Yeah. So it's a beautiful spot, and it's disconnected. And, you know, while technically it's not part of the Fulshear, you know, video that we're talking about, I think it's worth noting because they used to be one and the same, but they've gotten so big that they're kind of their own thing right now. So in a nutshell, obviously there's a lot more communities out here. We have Del Webb, which is up this way, and Del Webb's going to be kind of a private neighborhood for some older people, a 55 plus community. And there's a lot of smaller pocket neighborhoods that are popping up here and there. Inside there. And as people move in, so does development, so does fun, so does cool things, so there's, you know, coffee shops, all that stuff starts coming in play. And that's stuff that's been recently developed. The cool thing is that while we still have these new places, new shops and new things coming up, we still have old school mom and pop shops that will be there to the end of time because they're just, people are so loyal to them. So you will still get that small town charm, Fulshear, and it's not compromised by the developments that come in. And
just to add to what you said about Cross Creek Ranch, one of the things that I see in Fulshear that distinguish Fulshear is that in some communities like Cross Creek and Tamarron and Firethorn, they divide the community in just one street. It could be in one side is Fulshear and the other side is Katy. And just to add to it, there are some communities in Fulshear that are part of Katy too. That's kind of funny because just one line or one street, you will be in Katy and then you'll be in Fulshear. And when I said that, you are in Katy ISD or you will be in Lamar Consolidated ISD.
And that makes a difference when people are deciding where they want to move to. So just because you see a community that says Firethorn, it doesn't always imply that you're in Katy. And just because it says Cross Creek doesn't necessarily imply that it's in Lamar. Now I would say most of Cross Creek is in Lamar, but there are sections that are still in Katy ISD.
And I was add to also to Fulshear is that in Tamarron, there is a big community that is for rent. There are building houses that are meant to be for rent.
Exactly. And that's just, you know, there's some investors who in Houston, actually across America, I think, they're buying out certain sections of areas and communities and just building it hundreds of houses just for rent. But, you know, that's kind of what you have us to talk through, and we know those areas. And if your goal is to rent and kind of explore and get to know Fulshear or get to know Katy before you purchase, that might not be a bad option to do just for a year and a half. But if you're looking to purchase or move here to buy, and you want to avoid being close to those, and you kind of want to be somewhere that's more already established or whatever, we can find you a good spot in Tamarron and Firethorn or Cross Creek and not have to kind of not have to be within those rental houses either. All right, we're going to get into some really good stuff about the distance and how to get to your work and how to get on the road and all that cool stuff, because it is a little bit tucked away from Houston, but it's very highly sought after. But I'm going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Love it. And this is the Fulshear Farmers Market right here. The Fulshear Farmers Market happens every Saturday morning, and you get local vendors and local produce and, you know, eggs, and you get to have that, you know, that honey, all the really good stuff, locally made stuff. Usually I think I've seen about 20 to 30 vendors out there at a time. You'll see food trucks, and it happens every Saturday. Other areas and other parts of the city, they just do it once a month, like the first Saturday of the month or something. But they're committed to it out there, and it's mostly because this does have ties that being like, it's supposed to be the middle nowhere country type of feel. So they kind of honor that with that farmers market. And you get to go there every Saturday morning. I think they end about 2 or 3. Eat good, have a good time with the family, hang out. And just a lot of fun. And I will say also Fulshear, because it's still a small town technically, they do all of the small town cool things like Halloween parties and all these really cool events, and, you know, Easter and all that stuff. So you'll be able to stay connected with the community of Fulshear and not feel like you're just a small, like this big city thing. You're just lost with the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people doing this one big event. No, it'll feel very local to you at all times during these events. And that's something that I really like. But I'll let Cindy talk about
main roads,
with the main roads and how to get to and where, and, you know, how long it's going to take you to do anything.
We have Fulshear. One of the main roads that goes exactly like to the heart of Fulshear is, so all this 1093, when if you see 1093, like the name is, you don't have to pay to go in that road, but right here, like, it's really, like, you can obviously see that is a main concrete road, and that one is the toll. And another important road in Fulshear is Heritage Parkway. This road is fairly new, only like 3 years old, and the main reason to build this one is just to avoid the people from Fulshear to go through the entire communities to get to the 99 and then go I-10 on that part of town.
And just, you know, I-10 cuts through Houston, and that's how you get to downtown. That's how you get to San Antonio, how to do all this stuff. And Heritage Parkway just adds another road so that people can get through and get to work faster. Yeah,
and divide Katy north and south of I-10. That is, it's a very, very popular term, like north I-10, Katy south of I-10. Fulshear has also this road over here, that one is 359, and it's the old road that connected Fulshear to the I-10. But this way you will see that you have to like go back to Brookshire.
To get on I-10. And that was the old way of doing it. And in that way, it's like, it's more country roads. The roads are kind of narrow. You're going to see a lot of cows.
I was about to say that.
A lot of horses. But Heritage Parkway is kind of a straight shot. Also, Heritage Parkway, because it's new, has a lot of developments on there. So that's where we're going to see some new, I think they've already finished some grocery stores, some major commercial stores out there. So Heritage Parkway will be kind of your easiest way to get to like an H-E-B or a Target here pretty soon.
So 359, as I showed before, it goes north, but also goes south. This is an old road too that connected Fulshear to the other part, south part of like Richmond.
And Sugarland.
Exactly. And then, but they have been working like really hard on Grand Parkway 99. And when you take Grand Parkway 99 south, you pass by Cinco Ranch, then you will get to the I-10. But if you go south, as I mentioned in 359, you will go to Richmond and then Sugarland and that part of town that is really cool too.
Yeah, and 99 is it's a loop. It's going to eventually be a loop. It's a huge loop on the outside of Houston. And we have 3 loops in Houston. We have the 610, we have Beltway 8, and we have 99, which is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I bet you it'll cost, it's a toll road, and I bet you it'll be like $300 in like 6 hours just to do the whole loop, because it's so big. It's so big, but it's what connects the west part of Houston
to all the parts,
to Woodlands, to south, and then you can take Grand Parkway. I mean, you take I-10 and West Park Tollway to go through the center to go to downtown, but it's what's connecting us through the the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So we already talked about the main roads. Let's talk about the airports. So our main, like the biggest airport in Houston is George Bush Intercontinental Airport.
Yep.
And it's located over here, like very close to Beltway 8, north side of Beltway 8.
Correct.
So that one is, it's like an international. It's an international.
That's the biggest one.
It's the biggest one. And we have another one that is located over here. That is the Hobby Airport. That one is mainly connecting south part of United States.
Yeah, and it's also different airlines, like Southwest Airlines flies out of that one. It's just still a huge airport. Like both airports are huge. It's big and bigger, because that's just how we are in Houston and Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. But I mean, if you notice, Fulshear is kind of far away from that. How long do you think it would take?
That one, the fastest way to go to the George Bush is going through the West Part Tollway and then going up to another tollway, Beltway 8, and then get it to there. So this is an hour already.
Yeah, that's an hour. And if there's traffic,
it's
maybe an hour and a half. It's a commute.
It's a commute.
Yeah.
The other way to go to the airport is going through Parkway 99. This one is free over here, going I-10, then I-10 and 10, I-10, and then
just... And then go to 610, and then 610 to 45.
45.
And then that's kind of like your free way of getting to the airport. But that would take you such a long time to get there. That's out of the way. Yeah, it's crazy.
And Fulshear also has like a small airport.
Yeah, they have
private.
Because Fulshear has like basically a lot of types of money, a lot of big demographic when it comes to price points and stuff like that. There are a couple private airports. As a matter of fact, between Fulshear, Katy, and Sugar Land, there's probably 6, if not more than 6 private airports.
Over here, there is one, like very close to this area, and I know that is this one, like over here, there's another one. There's
actually a community that's technically Katy, so not Fulshear, but there's a community where your house is connected to the airport, and like their garages have hangars for their planes rather than their cars. Yeah, it's a really cool neighborhood. It's a smaller neighborhood, but it's really cool. We do have a lot of private airports for those of you who kind of need that type of service. And I will say a lot of people who end up flying private commercially. So these are all private, maybe private, not necessarily commercial private, but private commercial. Down here in Sugar Land, we do have a private Sugar Land commercial airport. Obviously there's jets and stuff like that, but that's where you could fly commercially, but it's also a private commercial jet. You see a lot of oil and gas people, or a lot of high-end CEOs and that level of people kind of use this airport when they want to travel privately and quickly. And that stays pretty active. Actually, as a matter of fact, you should look at our Sugar Land video if you want to see a little glimpse of that, because you will see a little bit of that. So that talks about the airports and stuff like that, which is all cool stuff. And you might be wondering, why am I going to live out here in the middle of nowhere if it's going to take me this long to get to the airport? So I'm just going to refresh this real quick, and I'm going to talk about Fulshear, and I'm probably going to wrap it up when I talk about Fulshear and a couple of things. Fulshear, the whole intention of Fulshear is to have a certain lifestyle of peace, of tranquility. We have like the Fulshear Festival of Lights, which is when they take Christmas lights and they just put millions of Christmas lights down to our little downtown of Fulshear out here. Also, the other interesting thing about Fulshear, and this is really cool, and I can't speak to this as an expert, I just know this from some of my clients that have lived out here. Fulshear is in the path of some of the migration for birds. So it's world renowned for bird watchers, which probably means nothing to you, but
for people,
a lot of people, you're going to see it. You're going to see it's a really cool thing, especially when you talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about when bird watching. So it is on the flight path, and I'm just going to make up the flight path, but somebody told me it's on the flight path of a lot of very specific types of birds and rare birds to watch. So there are people that travel from around the world just to Fulshear, just to see a certain bird, and it's really, really cool. And if you like things like cycling, or you like things like
that's the place,
running and stuff like that, there is a huge group of people just for that. I mean, if you go through Fulshear on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, you'll see maybe 100 bikes. Yeah, all kinds of people doing all kinds of stuff. It's a great place to live. And like I said, maybe we're not talking about, the skyscrapers that the big city has, but we are talking about the sense of community and the privacy and just being disconnected while also not being too far away from
the
all the
city
major
over.
stuff. Now, actually, that actually reminds me, there's some great hospitals right here in Katy. So if we're talking about, hey, what about my family and taking care of my family? You are a Heritage Parkway and a West Park Tollway and a 99 away, which is probably 15 to 20 minutes, moderately speaking, to these major hospitals.
West Medical Center.
West Medical, and there's are major hospitals that we have out here. While you do have this nice, quaint private life, it's not coming at the cost of your safety, and it's not coming at the, well, as your access to safety of health, and it's not coming at the cost of like having to stockpile 6 months worth of food just because you don't want to inflict driving. You can still go to the gas station and get something to eat, or go down the street and, you know, get a burger or something and not take an hour or two to get it, just like it would in a small town. Fulshear gives you all the access. Now, there's some fun stuff here because Fulshear is connected to Katy. We're not talking about Katy, but we are going to talk about Katy a little bit. Because Fulshear is connected to Katy, you get to benefit as Fulshear. What do you call somebody from Fulshear? A Fulshearite? I don't know. Fulshear person does get to benefit all the Katy stuff. So down West Park Tollway right here is a bunch of bars and restaurants. Right here, close to the, basically right here, we have some movie theaters here. Obviously, if you look at our Katy video, you're gonna know all of the stuff, the fun stuff Katy has to offer here.
Too.
You have La Santera too, down up here. So you have tons of options when it comes to things to go out and have some fun in Fulshear. So you gotta get the best of both worlds. Now, I forgot to mention this. Depending on where you buy in Fulshear, there are some areas in Fulshear that carry some of the best property taxes in Houston. There are people, especially if you're wondering why people are building $1 million houses, it's because some of these lots out here don't have a mud tax attached to it. So their property taxes like 1.2 or 1.3 or something, which is so low. For a Houston house, that's considered so low. So there are a lot of financial advantages to living in Fulshear and why people want to move out here.
And just to add to like the benefits, the good things about Fulshear is that the crime rate is very low.
Crime rate is very low. People take care of each other out here. So it truly is a family-friendly, safe place to live. I like it a lot. I've seen a lot of people, if I can just have a hot take, I've seen a lot of people from Katy, kind of who are a little bit over that suburban life, come to Fulshear just to kind of calm down. Now, the schools, this is Lamar ISD. For the most part. So there is brand new schools for Fulshear. And I can tell you that if you see the schools and they don't seem high rated, it's because they're so new, they haven't updated those ratings yet. But I can almost personally opinionated guarantee you that this is a 5. These schools rival, if not are better in some instances than the Katy schools, especially Fulshear High School, Lamar High School. It's a really cool, it's a good school. It's brand new. It's over here in Heritage Parkway. I'll pull it up for you guys so you can see it.
It's Lemon High School and the junior high. I have nephews in both of them.
So yeah, Fulshear High School. As a matter of fact, just to give you guys a quick little testament, and if you're not from here, you won't know what this means, but I had a buyer who was always wanted Seven Lakes High School. He, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
From Katy.
In Katy, Seven Lakes High School, which is considered one of the best public high schools out here. He said, you know what, I think we want to be in Fulshear High School. And for somebody to say that is a big deal. That's how much the reputation of Fulshear High School has grown. Big time. Really good schools, really good area. You get to live the best of both worlds.
What else you can ask for?
Right.
So I think we can spend the whole day explaining in a map where it's Fulshear, where it's located, the farmers market, and the main roads. But if you want to know the vibe, what we're saying, you have to experience it yourself.
Yeah, so we have our information down below. Give us a call or email us or text us if you want to know more. And we're happy to give you like a cool little tour. If you want like a private tour of what it's like if you're thinking about moving here, we're definitely the people to reach. Yeah, and look out because we're also going to be adding to these videos, and we're going to start probably tell you in the next video the pros and cons about living in Fulshear, Texas. We'll go even deeper this time.
Stay tuned.
See ya.